Well, I'm sure. Welcome to a panel discussion this morning. I'm Shirley Dalton, executive producer of Untrapped TV, and I am so pleased. I have two of my greatest friends here. I've got Glenn Kirkwood sitting right beside me, that referral guy. Hi, Glenn.
Hi, everybody.
And I have my favourite TV mentor, executive producer of Access to Experts and founder of GVN Global TV Network, Anne DeVere. Welcome, Anne.
Oh, thank you, Shirley. I'm thrilled to be here. This is going to be so much fun. I'm excited.
Thank you. Well, the reason that I've invited both of you to this panel discussion and to invite our viewers as well is because I've learned in the last couple of months about the power of web TV and what that can do for your business, but also for your clients. And as always, I like to share. I go and learn, and then I share. So I'm thrilled. I've got Glenn here as the expert for connecting people, and Anne here as the expert for having a web TV show. And what better way to connect people than through the internet? Anne's in Los Angeles, and we're in Newcastle, New South Wales. So absolutely thrilled that we'll be able to share some information with people to show them how they can actually use web TV and videos in their business and how they can use that for connections.
No, I like about it. I just feel like I'm in the room with two people, one who I know really well and the other person who I'm just getting to know by association through trust.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's great to be.
Yes.
No, same here. I'm, Shirley, I got to know you quite well in the past few months since we've been working together, actually. And Glenn, I've been hearing so much about you. I'm very excited to really know more about all the different ways, you connect people. The referral guy, my goodness, so wonderful. And so how we can share all this this whole web TV revolution that's happening right now with our viewers, and so this is great. And way to go, Shirley. Thanks again for putting us all together.
You're welcome. So what we might do, Glenn, is we'll start with you, and if you tell me about the general principles of introducing people and connecting people, and then Anne, if you would like to answer that in how you see the web TV or videos being able to complement that.
Okay, so we're about building relationships or building connections, growing connections. And so one of the ways that you've just done this morning is we've known one another for quite some time, and we've built up a relationship and built up the trust. So it was a few days ago that you sort of said, hey, I want to introduce you to someone. Well, I don't even question that. I just sort of jump in the car and sort of say, well, Shirley would invite me to something. I've travelled up 2 hours this morning just on your say-so. And you have a good relationship with Anne. I was excited to be here, and so I just wanted to add value. But that's really what's happened this morning. I've gained another connection, same with Anne, all through you, who is someone we both trust.
And if I can just jump in on that, that's exactly how I was introduced to Anne as well. One of my mentors that I know and trust sent me an email a couple of months ago and said, here's this opportunity and you need to do it, and you've got half an hour to decide. And I went out, had a 2-minute talk with Ross, decided, and then just on her say-so, didn't really know Anne, didn't know what the opportunity was, but because of that trust, it's amazing how much you can get.
It's the big thing, isn't it? Trust.
Yes.
So it was a no-brainer for me when you text me over the weekend. There's certain people that you'll look at their text messages, and you said, hey, I know it's the weekend, but, and I went, well, it doesn't really matter with my relationship with you. And looked at it and sort of went, yep, I'll happy to help.
Okay.
Wow, what a powerful statement. I'm just Glenn, you just drove 2 hours to get there. I know it's very early in the morning in Australia. It's in the afternoon here. I'm in Los Angeles, California, so it's in the afternoon for me. But you drove 2 hours to get there for an early morning TV program. That's amazing. That is the power of trust and building referrals. And Shirley, I'm still amazed that Tracy gave you half an hour to decide, and it was a nice investment on your part, because you ended up even coming to Los Angeles during this whole thing. So it's amazing what happens when when we come from a place of integrity and of being in service for each other. So this is what happens. It's magical, isn't it?
It is, and I think the key thing there about the trust is that you know that the person is doing it for your benefit, not necessarily for their own benefit. And I think that's a big thing. You know, often when you go to networking events and you'll have what I call the sharks, you know, and I put the hand up like dunk, 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 and they come and they throw a business card at you, and it's all about them. Whereas when you actually connect the way that you teach people to connect, it's more about what can I do. And in fact, you might even speak to that, Glenn, about your philosophy of giving.
Well, you know, most people give the card, and you ask people, what's it worth? Well, at that point, it's worth nothing, right? But if you do the introduction, then it has some value with people because they've actually have some content and sort of around it. And yes, I remember that particular person. So we train people that it's better to give, and this is me, I guess, giving to you. How can I help with you with your success? But for me, trust is, I know you've done this so often with me and you, that I know no other way that you would contact me. Everything is about giving. So there's no fear there. There's no risk for me. So you just jump in the car and how can I add value to you?
Well, wonderful. I actually see right now, I see a quick, I guess, support opportunity. Shirley, we are getting part of your hair cut off, so would you kindly push your chair back a little bit?
Push it back.
Push it back, because when you turn to talk, we lose part of your hair. Because, and by the way, everybody, Shirley is using what's called an XSplit. It's basically a very simple and yet very powerful tool to literally turn your home into a studio. And as a matter of fact, I'm using the same thing. And just so before we dive in, it was just an opportunity that came up. So I have this background, and then I can easily change it to another. Here we go. Let's see. There. Oh, where is it? Well, you know what? I need to put myself on screen. There we go. Okay. Why is it not changing on that? Interesting, because I'm putting the different colors and it's not changing at this point. Very interesting.
Technical.
Well, here we go. There's okay. I was like, oh, I know what it was. I still had the top one clicked. So now we go like that, and now we go like that, and there's, you know, I have curtains and everything else. So depending on where I'm sitting and what I'm doing, I actually can manage my own studio. And I can be on the beach if I want to. So there you go, okay? But that's what Shirley is using, and you have to kind of make allowances for it. Technology is just amazing. It gives us all kinds of opportunities. You know, you can literally have like an 8x8 space in a corner of your office or of your house or wherever is convenient for you, and be able to look like you're in a studio. I love this. It's so exciting to me. So anyways, back to you. The screen is back to you. There we go. You're on. Okay.
And that's really interesting what you say there, Anne, because prior to learning what we did from you, I must say I was absolutely freaking out, stressed out. We would get up every morning each week for the show, and it would be just this major stress out. And but as we got along, it didn't become such an issue, and literally we are sitting in my office at the desk with a green screen behind us, which we actually lugged all around America. So you can, really? Yeah, we did.
It's a green screen.
We folded it, and it was in the suitcase.
Killed my mood now. I thought we were somewhere great office.
Yep, and we would do this in hotel rooms, and we had a suitcase full of lights that we took with us, and you can do it anywhere. We had a laptop computer, and today we've got the New York background, which Ross took the photo of, and it's so easy. And so I really want to encourage people that you don't need to have a huge studio, you don't need to have all the big fancy lights. You can do it with your computer, you can do it with that program XSplit that Anne was talking about. We're doing this over Google Hangouts. It'll be saved to YouTube, it'll be perpetual, you'll be able to see it on our websites.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
And it gives entrepreneurs or solo entrepreneurs such an opportunity to compete with the bigger people and not just be just that little person in the background. And if someone, a technophobe, can get over it, then I'm sure, and I know you, so I'm sort of going, wow, if you've managed to get all that done, then that gives a lot of people, I guess, the hope that they can do it too.
That's right, and that is true. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Yeah.
I do know you, Shirley.
Well, you know, the beauty of having this technology is that a lot of our clients, the show hosts and the guest experts, and that we work with, where like only a year or two ago they would have to literally go into a TV studio to be interviewed, or even if they were across country. And like, you know, again, I'm in the U.S., so if Los Angeles TV station wanted to interview somebody in New York, they would have to go to another studio in New York and broadcast from there. So even though they were on the screen as we watched them, they were still going to a different TV studio. But now our people are just, they go into their own home studio and click on a button, and they look like I do, and they're ready to be the guest expert no matter where. So it's like, give me 15 minutes, I can be on your show. They're able to say that, they're able to show up. And so the technology is just given the expert next door, we call it the little guy over here, with so much power that we can actually go toe to toe against the big businesses, the corporations even. And it's just so exciting. So it's mind-boggling, when we really think about it. Just so much power in just a little bit of software that provides us. But that's where technology is right now. It's really leveled the playing field for all of us, and it's just what a unique time in the digital media. It's what a unique time, and it's just amazing what's happening. So every day, new technology, new ways to get out there, and we're just thrilled. It's so much fun, actually. I'm just having a blast.
I feel like I'm in the studio though, and I've been in both studios and it still has the same sort of feeling, huh?
Yes. And that was one of the reasons why you started this originally, wasn't it? Because you could see that there were all of these experts, the expert next door, you call them, and they weren't getting their messages out there. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, you decided to help them to be able to put their messages out. And then you realised that people also needed to be trained in how to actually show up on camera. I know it was halfway through the program when we learned how to put the makeup on, and gee, the difference between putting some makeup on. Glenn's even got makeup on today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, just I guess kind of rewinding time here. Yes, it was about 8 years ago when I actually had some amazing clients. They had better products and services than some of the better known experts out there, to be frank with you. And the difference was that my clients did not have the media, and the other ones, they were on TV, so everybody knew them and they were the go-to expert. Well, my husband has been in television for over 30 years, from directing the 6 o'clock news to working with some of the top infomercial producers and directors in New York. And he's also an Emmy Award-winning video editor. So I said, why don't we team up and interview my clients? Then they would have a reel to get on television, because when you want to get on TV, the first thing they ask you for is, can you send us a video of you being interviewed? And rightly so, because they can't take a chance that somebody is not going to have good content or they're not going to look good. People don't want to watch bad TV. But how do you have a reel when you're not on TV? So it's like a catch-22. You need to be on TV to have a video, but you need to have a video to be on TV. Anyway, we decided for my clients we would actually take them into a TV studio, and this is what we did. We actually rented the TV station, Channel 6 in San Diego, on a weekend, and we would take my clients in there and just literally put them on a news desk and conduct interviews. Our Access to Experts host was Jodina St. John. She's just amazing. But that's how we got started, because there was a need for my clients. And then one thing led to another, and we started training in groups of 12 because, to be honest with you, the main reason for that is we had some of the most amazing presenters, speakers, authors, who were dynamic in front of hundreds or maybe even thousands of people. But when we took them into the studio, the energy just wasn't there. And the reason for that was that they were so used to being inspired by the live audience. When in a TV studio, you're dealing with a camera, you're looking at a glass lens. So
Makes sense.
yeah, so and it was like, oh my God, this is so different. And we ended up training them. We would have 3-day intensives where we would train them, walk them through the whole process, and then go into the studio, and made a huge, huge difference. And so that's, one thing led to another with this whole web TV revolution that's going on with technology allowing us to do this. We started, working with an expert next door, like I said, many years ago, but we've fine-tuned the whole process of doing it. So it's kind of fun and it's organic, and they just all they have to do is be themselves. And that there is a process to that, but it's just that is how we got started. Give you a long answer to a short question there, Shirley.
And just thinking about people that might want to be taking advantage of the technology and getting themselves into videos and getting themselves online, what you found, and I've now found to be true as well, is that when we interview people, that if they haven't been trained or they don't understand what they need to do in terms of the background, in terms of the lighting, in terms of makeup, in terms of energy, where to look, all of those things, then it makes the difference between what looks like a professional expert who knows what they're talking about and somebody who's sitting in their 13-year-old's bedroom, and it just, that whole credibility just goes tumbling down when you don't know that. So people, if they're listening, should have gotten a whole lot of tips there just in that.
I think it's a bit like when you call someone, or you call your own home and you get your voice recording, and then you listen to yourself on your telephone message and you ask yourself, wow, do I really sound like that? But I guess with a little bit of coaching and training, you can actually come across as being very professional. So you definitely need to speak to people who have done it before and learn by them. I mean, you've probably learned a lot of mistakes along the way, so why try and figure it out? Why not just go to an expert who's already done it?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And the beauty of this is that I am literally sitting in an office that costs about $300 to set up. Literally.
Wow.
Includes the webcam, lights, and the background and the equipment that I'm using. And I intentionally did this so I can tell people this costs $300 to set up. And so, but knowing what to buy, knowing how to use it is the key. And that's the whole thing. If you don't know how to do something, it can be really daunting. It can feel impossible. When somebody just says, here, click this, and it's like, wow, amazing things happen. It's really that simple. And again, it's the technology that's at our fingertips right now. That makes all the difference. And all we're doing is just kind of showing how to use it. And so it's just really, a fun way of doing it. But yeah, it's quite simple, and anybody can do it. Actually, Shirley, you
Living proof.
Yeah, good, absolutely. Yeah. So,
you can spend a lot of money though trying to get that right $300. So you can learn all those mistakes, so you can just go to an expert and find out this is the $300 you need to spend. And I think people actually want to find out that. They don't want to make the mistakes. They would rather learn from someone. It's just which person to learn from.
Yeah, actually, especially when it comes to video, I call it the reluctant celebrity syndrome. While we understand that we want to be on camera, how powerful it is, we'll say, oh, I'd love to be on TV, but there is a reluctancy in there. Some of it is fear. Some of it is just that while we want to, it's not really, we don't really have a yearning to be a celebrity. It sounds like fun. Like I'm in Los Angeles. We have actors here waiting tables for 20 years, waiting for their big break. And I would never do that, waiting 20 years for my big break, but that's who they are. They're an artist, and it's like the musician has to play music, the singer has to sing. and actors have to act. But our people are like I said, the expert next door who really understand, why they should be using video and what's happening with this whole web TV revolution. But they're just like, there are ways of going around it to trick the mind to actually want to get excited about it, because most of them are like, oh no. It's just an instinct. We just want to repel from it right off as soon as somebody brings out the camera. And just like the technology, you can actually get comfortable with it quickly if you know how to do it. And a lot of it is just practice. I just tell people, just get on, and look at yourself, and you're going to find things you don't like. Glenn, just like you said, first time we hear our voice, it's like, well, do I really sound like that? It's because our voice echoes differently in our head than it does when it comes out of our mouth into the recording. And the same thing with camera, we're just like, is that really how I look? So,
I sound great when I'm singing in the shower.
I think all of us do that.
Yeah.
I actually have a question for you. When you're putting people together to connect, when I know that personally, when I'm connecting people, and in my business, we have we have amazing people that we're a part of, the group rather. And I love connecting people. I know when I put them together by phone, it's not the same energy, even if I do a three-way call. But when we, let's say, meet for lunch in person, sitting around the table, it's just a whole new energy, being able to, interact and see each other. It's just a whole new energy. And being a referral guy, how much of an impact do you think seeing, the other person, interacting with the other person has on how you connect people and what happens after the main connection, the initial connection?
That's a great question. We actually in our trainings show people that there's different levels of referrals, right from the hey, give this person a call, right to then all of a sudden you're starting to extend your credibility, or you're going to take time out of your day to actually arrange the appointment, which is what Shirley's done today, and she's set all this up. So I already come sort of going, wow, if she's done all that for me, I just bypass all that. I don't need to worry about getting to have some guards up at all, and it makes it so much easier because I can see your eyes, I can see who you are, I'm getting a sense of who you are as a person, and Shirley's just made that so much easier for me today to connect with you on a deeper level, a lot faster than if it had just been done, say, over the phone, or if it had been done via email. So video just makes this, I feel like I can get off the plane and just walk up, to your home or business or something like that and know who you are just by being able to see you.
Yeah, I actually feel the same way. Just your mannerism and how how you're responding, and just who you are really comes across. Even just watching the facial expressions, it makes a difference on how deeply we connect, like emotional level. And I think that's what it really takes, and to kind of what they say, know, like, and trust somebody. A lot of it is so much being able to look somebody in their eyes, and then and connect with them. So
that's something Shirley teaches. She teaches active listening, and that's a part of it, because just seeing you, as you said, your body language, I'm getting a real sense that you're attentive, you're listening. Not just if you're on the phone, I wouldn't be able to tell whether you're doing another task, and sometimes it does sound like that. And so I'm going, I get that they're on the other end of the phone, but I don't get a sense that they're actually listening to what I'm actually saying. So having the power of video, it is like the three of us just having a conversation, and I pick up all those extra senses, or all those, I guess, indicators to me, sort of going, yep, just give freely.
And also, go on.
Okay, I was just going to say that's an interesting point, that video kind of forces you to pay attention, because it would be quite rude while somebody's talking to go, So I guess that's that's a big part of it. So put people on camera, and they will pay closer attention to what you say. I love that. What a neat way.
Well, they wouldn't do it if we were all face to face and in the same room. There's things that you wouldn't do right? But when you're on the phone call, yeah, I know plenty of stuff that people do. I've done it myself. So you're right. It does force us to pay attention, be engaged in the conversation. And that's really what the goal here was, to actually put three people in connection, or your own connection.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And we had an example of this week where I had an email from somebody wanting to connect with me who happened to use Glenn's name and say, oh, Glenn gave me your name. And I thought, oh, that's interesting, because Glenn would normally tell me, you know, expect a call from this person. So before I connected back, I got in touch with Glenn and I said, I've got this. And he said, oh, well, I didn't actually say that. And then Glenn had to go then and sort it out with the person who was really looking to make a connection. So there was this whole mix-up, which if that had been in person or over the video, that wouldn't have happened. And so, again, it saves you a whole lot of time.
It could save a lot of time.
Yes.
And James could have probably got a better introduction then, couldn't he, too?
Yeah.
So we just said, well, actually, James, you know, this is how I know this person, and he just started extending trust, and you wouldn't have, well, what's all this about? I'm not really sure. And I sort of said, I gave him a bit of training. I guess that was his first stage of learning how to do the introductions. And that was one of those lower levels we were just talking about. He was just using my name to get leverage, and we had full intention of that actually happening. Had it been on a video, it would have been done once, but it was probably about 5 or 6 emails over about 3 or 4 days. Wow. The whole thing could have been solved if we'd either been in the same room or a connection like this.
Mm-hmm. What a great point on that. You know, that is, I actually had not thought about it. So it saves a lot of time as well, not going back and forth with the emails and stuff, and more deeper connection. Yeah, no, I'm liking it. So Glenn, I will actually be using video more often to make introductions myself, to be, you know, frank with you, because I'm usually conducting interviews, so I put people together like that. But I'm thinking I'm going to start using it more off training, and just connecting people and say, hey, let's just get on a hangout, and I will send you an invitation, and okay, meet. So I will be using it. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So Anne, let's talk also about the benefits of using video and interviewing people, and how that can help people with their businesses. You call it the Wild West. So tell us about that.
What, uncharted or?
Uncharted. Okay. I love it. I love it.
And a lot of people actually want to be on the forefront of that. Get in while it's still quite green.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, actually, there is a bit of the Wild West going on, and right now it's I relate it more to the gold rush of America. You know, way back when they first discovered gold. It was everywhere, and people were rushing. They claimed their territory, and that's kind of what's happening with WebTV right now. Interestingly enough, because for the past 7-8 years, really, the teenagers have embraced YouTube in such a way where there are all kinds of shows for them. They're gamers and all kinds of stuff. So they've taken quite a bit of what's happening with web TV. And in the last couple of years, about three years or so, a lot of the drama shows, you know, that things that would get on traditional TV, or they would get on maybe cable TV and things like that, they started putting those shows on web TV, like the Orange is the New Black, you know, that everybody's talking about, is one of those shows. But right there in the middle of all this, there is a huge shortage of talk shows, you know, educational talk shows. And this is where this whole web TV revolution is actually helping us right now in supporting, you know, again, the expert next door. That's all of us. That's me and you. In really getting out there in a big way. And it's going to be probably about another year, I think, where the opportunity is going to be open like the Wild West. We're not regulated by the traditional television, you know, regulations and things like that. So we have a little bit of a leeway here. But what's happening is that there is a huge shortage of talk shows. And for that reason, the web TV networks are connecting. Just to give you an example of what happened to me in the last few months. somebody actually contacted me on Facebook, said, I love your Access to Expert shows, and I would like to put it on my network. Can I speak with you? And I said, of course. And so we set up a call, and he proceeded to tell me that they're, looking for quality shows because, most of the speakers that they have out there, experts, a lot of them have videos of them walking back and forth on stage, which doesn't really make, good talk shows. It's kind of difficult to just stand there and watch. So, and when I told them I understood what was going on, and that's why we were actually training our own show hosts and guest experts and the video tip providers ourselves for our network. And when I explained to him what it was, he got so excited. He said, "Can I tell you about our network?" I'm like, "Yes, of course." So his network, now listen to this. They have a network of 500 million monthly viewers with Imagination TV and a Film On and I See Places. And then he said, well, now we've teamed up with Clear Channel, who is, at airports. Until now, CNN has had the monopoly at airports. So Clear Channel is there. So Clear Channel is looking for us to provide content to Clear Channel. So can I send some of your interviews from Access to Experts to the airport network? I'm like, of course. But he didn't stop there. He said, well, let me tell you where else we're going. So we have access to a gas station TV where, in the States, like pretty much every time you stop to get gas, there is a video that comes on and gives you some, fabulous tip about how to de-stress or how to do whatever it is, how to pick the right vitamins for yourself. But they're all over every time we stop for gas. And then there's supermarket TV or checkout, where pretty much every time we go to pay for our goods, there is a TV monitor that comes on and gives us another tip about something else. We're in a grocery aisle, let's say, vegetables, there's somebody chopping up and how to make a healthy fresh salad in 3 minutes. So and then we have the food networks, all the fast food networks. Here's what they're doing is putting the TV show on the Imagination TV with 500 million and the other ones as well, and taking excerpts like 30 seconds to 3-minute videos and putting them in all the other places and driving them back to the show. So while you're pumping your gas and they're saying, okay, well, here's a 30-second tip on how to de-stress. Guess what? There is a whole 30-minute show on how you can de-stress, all day, whatever. And this is what they're doing. They're looking for content for all this. And I'm like, well, we have experts. They're health and wellness experts. They're business experts. They're empowerment experts. And they're money management and finance experts. And we even have nonprofit experts. And he almost fell off a chair. And this is on the phone, I could tell. So anyways.
Made it easy for him.
Yeah, but that's what's happening, and this is actually what this whole thing is, that we're working with the experts next. So we're actually looking for people at all different levels, even if they're not ready to have their own web TV show. Maybe they want to be a guest expert because our show host needs somebody to interview. But even if they're not ready for that, they can take their information, whatever that they're sharing with people, and put together 30-second video tips, on how to do whatever it is that they suggest. Business consultants have, I'm sure, 30-second video tips. Shirley has some amazing ones. I know because she shared some of them, and you have some amazing tips right there, so it's very easy to take all this information and really get it out there and leverage web TV, just because we can put it on YouTube, of course, Google Hangouts, social media, everything is video. And it's just knowing simple things like what equipment to use to look professional. That makes all the difference, So yeah, that's kind of what's happening out there. It's wide open. Whatever level you want to jump in, it's fine. The water's fine. Everybody jump in. Like I said, whether it's a video tip or you want to host your own show, it's there. It's there for for participation. It's there for the taking.
And so, and you're actually making your training available now, aren't you, on a regular basis? And so if people are interested, we can give them a link to where they can find out some more information about that.
Oh, yes. Well, initially we started having more advanced trainings for the people who just wanted to be on television. But now, because so many people need it, we actually put together a 24/7 access, members area where they can go in there and learn everything from how to prepare to get on the show, to how to identify even what they want to call their show, how to speak in sound bites, even what to say and how to say it, so it sounds like they are on TV as opposed to selling, really. While we want to be on TV so we can let more people know about who we are and what we do, and that's really the thing. I know that most of the people who find us, they have this message, they have a yearning, it's something that they have to do. If I could even just get a penny for every time I heard somebody say, and if they only knew how good I am, if they only knew how this would help them, if they only knew how good this product is, if they only knew, and over, and I can actually see the pain in their eyes when they're saying it, because it's just, they know how good they are, but the world doesn't. Well, this is it. This whole web TV revolution is for us. Is for us to be able to jump in there. So whether you just want to get on Google Hangouts, whether you want to put a YouTube video, and by the way, very powerful marketing engines, both of them. There's nothing bigger than Google and YouTube combination. Seriously, it's just think about it, Google. So whatever capacity you want to get on, even if you just want to start off just practicing with the webcam you have, start. Just put something out there. Just don't miss the opportunity that's in front of you right now, because people need you. They really, really need you right now.
And I think one of the benefits of learning that too is that it actually does give you the confidence to be able to present yourself and, as you say, speak in sound bites and connect with people. And I remember one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is just a simple little message, and that is that the head repels and the heart attracts. And so just being able to connect on that level with people and being mindful of that, it's just so powerful in itself. And the video gives you that opportunity and gives people that confidence to say, I do know what I'm talking about and I can help a lot of people, and I also know how to turn up now, how to show up and look credible and make that connection with people.
Yep.
Is that a bit like people have a resistance to buying something, but if they were to watch like a 10-minute infomercial, how all of a sudden they find themselves sort of saying, oh, well, actually, I do have that. Do you think that's because the risk is lowered? They get an understanding of what their company's about, or what the people are about and the problems that they solve, and then all of a sudden they find themselves buying something? Is that a bit like that?
Well, it is something like that, but it goes actually deeper than that. Is that if you keep in mind that we actually don't mind spending money. We work really hard to spend money. What do we do with the money that we make? We buy houses, we buy cars, we go on vacations, we put our kids through education. So we make money to spend money. And what we are afraid of doing is making a mistake. When we make a bad decision. And so our initial instinct is to say no when somebody offers us something. And actually, I had to laugh at myself, because not long ago, I needed a new camera. I walked into an electronics store, one of the biggest ones here, where I know exactly, as soon as I walk in, they're going to say, can I help you? Which is what they're supposed to do. But my knee-jerk reaction was, nope, I'm just looking. As soon as I walked away, I said, what did I do that for? Now I have to go chasing after them to find somebody to help me, because I don't know what the latest camera is. Every day they're coming up with something new. Yes, I had many questions, but even I, knowing all this, my knee-jerk reaction was no. And again, it's just one of those, it's deep down inside. So what the camera does, it's really the most intimate you can get with somebody without being in the same room with them. Like, we talked about, you can see their facial expressions and you can see how sincere they are. And like Shirley was saying, the head repels and the heart attracts. So one of the most profound, transformations happen when we work with people is that literally we just say, just forget about what you're supposed to do. Get in touch with why you do what you do and tell people how you can help them. You know, so let them know what they're going to get out. Once they get into that space of, oh, how can I help you? Here's the information you need so you can make a better decision. Being a better educated consumer makes us a lot more comfortable, makes us a lot more powerful. So then we are able to make decisions, and that's what video does. And that's what right now what we're doing is delivering information to people on how they can leverage web TV. Now, regardless of what happens at the end of this, whether some people want to know more about me, more about Glenn, or more about Shirley, regardless, of what happens, the people who get to watch this are going to walk away with something that's going to help them, and the focus is on that. As long as we stay in that, then we come across as who we are, and that you can't lie about that. People know it's instinctive. When somebody can stand in front of us, they can smile, and we know, I don't care how much they smile, we know that it's a phony smile because we can feel it. And the camera it's a filter. It's a filter. You can't lie to it. I mean, not though. Well, there are actors, and that's why they're in the movies. But no, the average person is not that good of an actor. So it's amazing what we see. It's amazing what we see when people get on camera, and and again, as soon as they get in touch with their heart and come from a place of being in service, amazing things happen. But the other thing too is that we have access to millions of people at the same time. We have access to more people than we can service. It's a web TV. It's global. So we don't have to worry about, making sure everybody that we meet becomes a client. That disappears. This is about, let me give the information out. The right people who I'm supposed to serve will be there. The right people will hear it. So it takes away this scarcity feeling that we have, because we know that if we help enough people, we get what we want. That's what Zig Ziglar said. To get anything you want, help enough people. And having this big of an audience, having millions of people watching, gives us that freedom to get out of that scarcity mode. And that's one of the things I really love about web TV.
It actually feels good to give to other people as well.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a good feeling. If you're giving to help people, you just win there anyway. So don't worry about the sales sort of process. Don't worry about any of that sort of thing. Just connect with people. Video makes that accessible.
Yeah. And for me, using the video, it allows me to do what I love to do, and that is to share information and to teach people to help them improve their lives and get what they want. And so for me, I can't get in front of the camera quick enough because it enables me to help other people.
I like being in front of the camera, and I also like being watching as well, because I've watched a lot of content from experts and learned a lot of information. And the ones that I resonate with the most are the ones that just give themselves, and that's where the connection gets made. And whether it happens on video or face to face, that's really what you're trying to achieve: a connection, and getting people to understand you, what you're about, why you're the best tomato grower. And you don't have to be the most professional, but this sort of technology allows you to do that and then share it with more people.
Yeah. And actually, we don't even have to look professionally. If anything, not looking perfect makes us even more endearing, because then we're more real and people connect more with who we are. So when I start seeing somebody who's like, totally set on, oh, I have to do this perfectly, I have to, sit this way, I have to, like, relax. Don't be perfect, because perfection is very difficult to connect with. So be yourself, mess up a little bit, show your human side. That's what people want to connect with, And so it actually makes it easier for us to get started with video, because trust me, we make a lot of mistakes when we get started. I know I made a lot of mistakes, and even I was like, no, I don't really want to be in front of the camera, because I am the expert behind the expert. I produce the TV shows. And somebody said to me, and people need to hear what you have to say, so you better get in front of the camera. And I said, oh, you're right. But now I love it. Once you get comfortable with it, see how you can connect with people on a deeper level, it makes it so much easier to want to, to feel, actually to feel more comfortable and to want to get in front of the camera. It makes it so much easier. Just do it.
So Glenn, just being mindful of the time now, is there any comments that you would like to make listening to the talk about video and web TV in terms of connection and referring people? Any last comments or any last tips?
I think it actually can grow connections faster by, people are trying to always build up a list, I guess, in their businesses. They want to get their message out to a number of people, but I think video actually gets people to connect with an audience rather than just sort of sending out information. So I'd encourage people to do it, because I actually really enjoyed the process this morning. I came because of the connection of us, but I feel a lot closer to Anne. I feel like I could start my own relationship with Anne without Shirley, just from using this sort of technology. So I've enjoyed the process. I'm not surprised, though, that you decided to invite me along or connect me with Anne, and I relied on you to be able to do that, to find two people that sort of would have a connection, because you knew Anne and you knew us, and you thought, well, that'd be a great connection. This is a great way to do it. I've really enjoyed it.
Okay, thank you. And Anne, any last comments?
Well, actually, if I can, I would like to ask a question of both of you. So is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Glenn, first, what would you say is the most important thing to consider when we are making connections, when we want to put two people together? What are like maybe 2 or 3 things we need to absolutely do to make sure that it's the right and a respectful relationship?
I think you first need to identify two people that would make a good connection. I think we all have audiences where they're sharing problems or challenges, and if you can find someone that can help them solve that, that's the first identifying, that's a great connection. I think if you put your time and effort into helping that connection, you get to grow your relationship with both of those people just by doing that. So I'd encourage people to actually take the time. I know it can sometimes seem a lot of effort and a lot of time, but the end result is a lot more worth it.
Oh, thank you for that. And actually, I would love to set up an interview with you so we can support my people, because I know being mindful of the referrals that we make is such an important part of who we are and what we do. So I'd love to set that time up with you. So I'm kind of putting you on the spot there, Glenn.
Yeah, I'd love to be a part. I'd love to do this again. Thank you.
No, wonderful. Thank you. And Shirley, what would you say is the best way for us to actually leverage video for the business, to grow a business? You're such an amazing business consultant, and the processes that you put together and the connections that you're making. So how are you using video to make sure that the business is growing as a result of using video?
Well, there's a number of ways for that, and one of them, which we've learned through you, was to have our own TV show, and we've called it Untrapped TV, because our mission in life is to help business owners to get untrapped from their business. And apart from me giving out the information that I can, what I'm able to do by hosting that is to actually bring in other experts. So I've interviewed Glenn, and he can talk about referrals. We have finance experts, we have HR consultants, people that have been there and done that. So we bring this depth of knowledge to other people and to share that with them. That then also raises our credibility, because we're having access to the other experts, then we're also seen as an expert. And so you can distribute that in all sorts of ways. So, there's all the social media outlets. There's our own web page that we've got, untrapped.tv, where people can access this information. And so you just become known. So it really raises your credibility, and it helps other people as well.
Well, thank you. No, you've done such a great job of putting it together, and I see you doing it. Like, you just kind of brought the 3 of us together to deliver some great content and share our knowledge with everybody. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Okay. All right. Well, the only thing left to say on this then, I think, is that if people watching this are interested in learning how they can either learn how to be a better guest on somebody else's show, learn how to be a better presenter for their own video, or to learn how to host their own show, or even just to get that confidence to be able to stand up and present, then if they're interested, we'll give them a link and they can find out more information and get in touch with you, Anne.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Great. We'd love to anybody that you are working with, and both of you are working with. Oh, we'd love to have them share their brilliance with the rest of the world, because I know if we're supporting the same person together, they're sure to have quite a bit of success. I mean, making the right connections, making the right business decisions, and then letting the world know about them. Yes, absolutely. That would be wonderful. I'd love to work with your people. Okay.
And
thank you to you, Shirley, because just even going through this particular process, I have already identified several people that I could actually now introduce to Anne. And going through the process myself, I actually have a real case study. And I'm able to speak about my experience, and I'm actually able to then put them in touch with an expert. So I become more valuable to my audience by able to help them solve problems. And this has been a great introduction for me. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And one of the things that I've realised is that we tend to be out there. You know, we take the opportunities. We don't really know what we're getting into, and then we get into it, and then it's like, oh wow! And so then having the opportunity to share that with other people, you know, I feel so privileged to be able to say, well, I've learned this, I've done that, and you know, and it wasn't, you know, most of the time it was pretty easy, but I could get my own stress levels up, which, you know, no need to do that, but yeah, and just one last comment then on that power of referrals. In fact, I introduced another finance consultant to two of my business consultants, and he said, oh, it is such a pleasure working with people who are so genuine and so caring, even to their own detriment in business, because he's teaching them about the numbers, which is not my area at all. And I was sort of taken aback at that, because I thought all of my clients are like that. And so for him, he's now being introduced to this whole other world of working with wonderful people, whereas in his previous position, that wasn't the case. And so, you know, that power of connection, you really do link people up with like-minded people, and you know, people that have those similar values. So again,
you minimise the risk for people.
Yeah.
For your audience and the people that come in contact with them.
Yeah.
It was a good experience then for him.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I don't know about anybody else, but I've certainly taken a lot out of today's conversation, reinforced some points that I knew, and also introduced some new points. So thank you, Anne, and thank you, Glenn.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you, Shirley, for putting this together and for introducing me to Glenn, and looking forward to getting to know you better, Glenn. And of course, you know, continuing our wonderful relationship with you, Shirley. Definitely looking forward to that. So, okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.